Okay, we're going to go in the order in which I received these poster previews. So Ryan, I apologize in advance when I butcher your name. It's just going to happen. I'm from Western Pennsylvania. It's bad. All right, so first up, Ryan Feder. Is it Feder? Feder. Oh, let's see. 0 for 1.
All good.
High level overview.
All right, so my poster is about, it's an analysis of the Major League Baseball rule changes from the 2023 season and covers the 3 major rule changes that happened: the pitch clock, the stolen base rules, and the banning of the shift. For the pitch clock, I looked at differences in pitcher ERA, differences in time between pitches, and both by inning, over the course of the season, by month. And for stolen bases, looked at a lot of stolen base attempts, how there's a huge increase in that department, stolen base success rate, difference in catcher pop time, whether there was or wasn't on that department, and how that affected the success rate of stolen bases. And the most thorough analysis of this poster was with the shift, where I used a hit probability model that took into account spray angle, launch angle, and exit velocity to sort of look at the differences between the 2022 and 2023 season at different exit velocities, spray angles, launch angles, to see where the shift actually did or didn't have an effect in terms of batted balls in play.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Next up, we have Kyoshu Mason.
Yeah. Hi. So in this project, I was trying to estimate the effect of player skill, fatigue, and other game state factors on a team's win probability in the EPL. And win probability is kind of hard to model, so I tried to do it via simulation. And yeah, so then I used these simulations to see how perturbations to the game state affects a team's win probability, primarily through substitutions.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have Connor Pastel.
That was pretty good there.
Okay.
That was pretty good. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Connor. So this project here, I was trying to take a new look at hockey analytics, where there's been a lot of research in the men's sport, but there hasn't been as much in the women's side of the sport. And so what I decided to do was first take a high-level analysis, try to train some sort of expected goal model, and see if there's any major changes in reference to a men's and see if there's any changes with respect to the men's expected goal model. So that was the start, just to try to gain some level of idea of how the games have any changes. And then after that, I went on to train a win prediction model to see, again, if the same sort of features that teams have are the same level of predictiveness in the women's game as it is in the men's game. So if you're interested in learning more about how the win prediction model ended up turning out, or just want to talk about the women's side of sports, you can come stop by my poster.
All right, thank you. Next up, Kevin Bear. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin. I'm a second-year data theory major at UCLA, and my work is on men's volleyball and looking at taking the differences between input and output qualities of touches to then determine and evaluate player success. I was able to create metrics about evaluating, predicting, and analyzing volleyball performance. And on this is kind of my side work, as I serve also working with the UCLA football team on football analytics. So if you're interested in volleyball, these visualizations are my work in college football analytics. Come stop by my poster and talk. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Jacob No.
Hey, you got it. Let's go. Okay, hi everyone. So basically, Formula One, pretty complex sport. There's 20 different drivers, 10 different teams. All the cars are completely different, and we really wanted to compare drivers. There's not really a good way to do that because of the difference in cars. So,
long story short, our project does exactly that. We can compare all drivers with one another now, and that just gives us a more accurate representation of who the best drivers really are. So yeah, come by.
Are you brothers?
yeah.
All right, next up, Rivka Lipkovitz.
Pretty close, Rivka Lipkovich. I don't know why my parents chose to spell it like that. Yeah, so my name is Rivka Lipkovich. I'm a senior at Proof School. So fencing is the oldest Olympic sport, and it's a combat sport. At national tournaments, there is a 20% cut after the first round. So if you're below the 20th percentile, you don't get to proceed to the second round. And as a fencer, I know that it really hurts to get cut after the first round. So I was curious if being cut caused fencers to do either better or worse in a subsequent tournament. So I used a regression discontinuity approach for causal inference. So I compared people slightly above and slightly below the threshold, since they should be comparable in skill level. And I found that being cut had no effect on future performance in fencing, which was surprising. So you could check out my poster if you want to see more.
Awesome, thank you. Next up, we have Sebastian Kirkpatrick.
Hello. So my research is all about pitch types and seeing how we can really isolate the value of a sequence of 2 pitches in a row. So, not how good a pitcher's pitch is or how good the pitcher is, but specifically the value you get from throwing one pitch and the next pitch based off the type. I did a little clustering, threw some types together. So if you like baseball, you like pitching, stop by my poster and go Bucks.
There you go. Next up, Krithan Visvesh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Krithan Visvesh. I go to Enloe High School in North Carolina. Imagine if we could predict the winner of the next U.S. Open. My research dives into the power of utilizing Python's powerful scikit-learn and Pandas libraries to use logistic regression to calculate the top 10 ranked athletes and their probability to win the 2024 US Open. So I analyzed players' rank and opponents' rank, the 2 variables most correlated with win probability, and I calculated each contender's winning probability in the tournament. And we all know that tennis is a difficult sport to conduct analytics in, and that's exactly why I invite you to visit my research poster. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, it's a fun one. We have Christopher Dunstan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Dunstan. I'm a PhD student at North Carolina State University studying geospatial analytics. And this is my work on the analysis of breakdancers, more specifically using a deep learning pulse detection model in order to classify how breakdancers move through space, and using a random forest classifier in a class to categorize what movements different breakdancers are doing. But why study breakdance? During the past Olympics, breakdance was an event, and Team USA wanted past intel on the breakdancers within those events, and if you want to know about the results of that intel, stop by my presentation.
Awesome, thank you. Next up, we have CMU alum, Gabriel Krotkov.
Well, actually, my name is Anushka Prabhu, and I'm representing the Girls of Steel robotics team. So I want you to imagine a sports league, but with robots, where teams of high schooler design and program their own machines to compete in technical challenges. That's RoboSports. In the first robotics competition, aka FRC, teams go head-to-head in 3v3 matches, and each group of 3 is an alliance which are formed randomly during qualifying rounds. Now, when it comes to rating these teams, FRC commonly uses a metric called offensive power rating, or OPR, to assess robot performance. Basically, it's like adjusted plus minus in the basketball world. But here's the catch. Traditional OPR does not consider when a match happens in the tournament. And we found this to be a key limitation, because matches midway through the tournament actually provide a clearer representation of a team's true skill. In our research, we offer a refined OPR model that takes this timing into account. When optimized, these weights have the potential to create even more accurate predictive models in the RoboSports world. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next up, we have Josh Avram.
Yep. Hello. My project is called The Fan Effect, and the goal of this project was to find what NFL fan base has the most effective fans. I did this by using different factors like attendance rate at home versus away and win percentage at home versus away since 2013. And the results were pretty surprising. It wasn't the big name markets like the Dallas Cowboys. It was more the mid-market teams. So you guys should come by and check it out. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm battling Chrome tabs. All right. Next up, we have Kendall Thomas.
Hi, I'm Kendall. I'm a third-year PhD student at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and I'm studying analyzed movement dynamics in elite female soccer athletes. I propose a new way to quantify GPS movements in a quantile cube so we can break down the movement into velocity, acceleration, and angle in order to create probabilities for each specific piece of the quantile, and then we can model that distribution in order to predict how soreness, position, time spent on the field will impact these distributions to better predict injury. So come check out my poster if you want to see the results.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Omkar Zerakar.
Hello everyone, my name is Omkar, and we built an app for baseball and basketball using R Shiny to help coaches look at the data, look at the insights with visualizations and different models. We use the data from TrackMan, our school teams, games, the lineup analysis, and if you are interested in that, stop by our poster outside. That's it.
All right, thank you. Next up from Center College, we have Leslie Harris.
Hello, I'm Leslie. I'm a junior data science major from Center College, and we have created our Shiny apps for the volleyball team and the track and cross country. So what the volleyball app does is it creates visualizations that show the spatial patterning for serves and attacks. And then we also break down the play-by-play analytics into phases so the coaches can look and see, okay, where are we succeeding and where do we need to improve very clearly. And then for the cross-country app, we generate tables that help the coaches predict the different outcomes for a meet.
All right, thank you. I'm very jealous of this Center College swag. I think my boss needs to give me swag for this new center. All right, next up from Center College, we have Ben Marilla.
Marilla.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hi, I'm also from Center College. There are a lot of us. So our final suite of our Shiny apps has to do with the football, soccer, and lacrosse sports teams that we've got on campus. Where you do a lot of things pertaining to like individual player shot charts and success rates when it comes to the football team. So we can just help people recognize the areas of their game that they can improve in, what they're doing well, and also help with scouting on a week-to-week. So please come check out our poster.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Janil Kaka.
Not from Center College, but yeah, I'm a data analytics major at Penn State. And what we did is we tried to identify one major gap in soccer, that is lack of defensive metrics, because it's very structured, it's very systematic. We tried to bridge that gap, try to find how systematically we could define and understand a successful press. And we also tried to identify different situations and things where we could apply this. If you want to know more about how England could have won the Euros, do stop by our poster. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Shamar Phillips.
Hello, my name's Shamar from University of Waterloo. So me and my group built a project, USportsR and USportsPi. Pretty much it's a package that streamlines access to USports data. I know there's a lot of Americans here, so if you're not familiar, USports is like our NCAA. So you can take a look. If you want to scan right here, you can read our paper. If you have any questions about how we're using it for our varsity team, just share them when you see me.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Max Kesselheim.
Hi, everyone. I'm Max Kesselheim. I'm a junior in high school in Boston. And As many of you may know, hitting a baseball coming at over 90 miles an hour with just a wooden bat is one of the most difficult things to do in sports. And so the players who do so particularly well earn millions and millions and millions of dollars in contracts and brand deals. And these players are often described as clutch, which means they excel when it matters most, like in the playoffs or in the World Series. However, my research challenged this notion. So I analyzed 3 years worth of World Series player statistics using a Java mathematical model to distinguish between clutch performance and mere luck. So by simulating players' regular season and postseason batting averages, my model determined that only 1 of 16 high-performing hitters across the 3 years showed true clutchness statistically, and for the others, luck was the most significant factor. This research holds valuable insight for teams, players, and brands, such as like identifying genuine clutch players can better guide contracts, media hype, and endorsement decisions. And so while data-driven approaches are increasingly shaping the game, this study reminds us that the legends we celebrate made sometimes just be on a lucky hot streak. So if you want to talk more, come talk. Go Red Sox.
All right, thank you, Max. All right, next up we have Liam Smith.
Good morning. College softball is on the rise both in person and with television viewership. On TV, college softball outpaced that of college baseball for the Women's College World Series Finals just a couple of years ago, and they've set in-person attendance records. However, in sport analytics research, they're still lagging behind the decades that baseball has. In this project, I take a model that was previously used to predict the Euro soccer tournament and the Premier League and apply it to college softball. We account for some areas in which the model just simply cannot be applied because there's not enough data in college softball and too many teams by constructing an alternate way of approximating the parameters. The model is a double Poisson, which assumes that a team's run scored is a Poisson random variable with a mean dependent on its offensive strength and its opponent's defensive strength. And we use this to model the first of the 4 stages of the NCAA's Division I softball championship. So come on by if you're interested in talking about college softball or about being a Division I softball DJ.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Abhi Varadajaran.
Hi, everyone. So one of the things I find most interesting about roster construction in the NFL has to do with the fact that the NFL is a hard salary cap league. And so teams don't have any extra resources based on money like in soccer and baseball. And so one of the ways I thought that teams might be able to gain value without that extra advantage is the idea of drafting well, because rookie contracts, as mandated by the CBA, are at a much lower rate than veteran contracts. And so I represented this by what I call the surplus value rating, which is calculated as a player's 6th year AAV on their contract minus the base rate 5th-year option value. And I applied that to their rookie contracts, the span of their rookie contracts, the first 4 years, to kind of get a sense for how teams are drafting players that return extra value on their rookie contracts. And I looked at that for both at a positional level over time, as well as on team performance season by season, in terms of how much that they are kind of gaining from having quality rookie talent on the roster. So if you're interested in any of those things, please stop by.
All right, thank you. And the last poster preview is Advait Iyer. Okay, well, maybe not here. Otherwise, enjoy. Please, what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over to our lunch poster session. So it's going to be, we're going to stick with our time of hour 15 minutes. So we'll be back in here at 1:30. Let's give a big round of applause, though, for all of our poster previews. Again, most of those were just preview slides, just little snapshots, and you get to check out the full poster, all of their results up in the hallway. All the food is also outside on the Baker patio where all the drinks were at before. And then please go down, check out all the posters upstairs as well.